Welcome, Rajiv Chopra. Very welcome, Anita Gaur. Welcome everyone once again. We'll just wait for a couple of minutes for more attendees to join. Thank you. Welcome, Shahbaz Ahmed. Welcome, Sudhindran. Welcome, Amar Ibrahim. Welcome, Bhuvanesh. Welcome, Francisco. Welcome, Ayat.
I think, Savan, we can get started if that's okay.
Sure.
So my name is Pankaj Kejriwal. First of all, I welcome all the folks who joined the webinar on 7 best practices on key account management, launched by Richardson Sales and Embark Learning. And Embark Learning is one of the leading player in the EdTech segment globally. We have, let me introduce the participants today. We have Suresh Rao, who is the founding member of Embark. We have Tim Sullivan, who's the VP Business Development for Richardson Sales Performance. He's based out of US. It's too early for him in the morning. We managed to get him. We have Jason from Ireland, Dublin. Then we have our account director, Subela and Savan from Dubai. And I had the international sales for Embark. So I now hand it over to Suresh just to introduce briefly about Embark before we start this session. Over to you, Suresh.
Thank you so much, Pankaj. First of all, good evening to everyone in the Middle East regions across the board. It's been a pleasure to host this webinar along with Jason and Tim and Pankaj, purely from a Richardson Sales. So I'll talk to you about what is Embark, what we are and what we're trying to do, especially in the Middle East and North Africa market. Maybe Jason, if you can flip to the next slide. Yeah, perfect. So Imarticus, we are a leading education company where we build skill sets across technology, analytics, digital skills, behavioral, finance and banking, of course, and importantly is sales and behavioral skills. So we run a lot of corporate training programs across these segments, and we have a large clientele pretty much in the Middle East region for us to do that. Again, in Imarticus, we're headquartered in India, but we have global spaces across Dubai and Middle East region. We've expanded to Singapore, Malaysia, and also we have offices in London. And very soon we'll be in the Americas, looking at specific programs from a skill development point of view. If we move to the next slide, our expertise range from finance and banking, from fintech. We have invested a lot of our curriculum, content, and expert trainers in fintech, analytics, and IT and operations, where a lot of digital skills requirement is what we've seen across the board. But more importantly, from where we are today is we are proud to be associated with Richardson Sales. They are the top sales training company in the world. They're headquartered in US, and I'm sure Tim and team will walk you through specific in terms of Richardson Sales. And we're quite excited to bring this particular product in the market in Middle East. We believe that, basis our research, that Middle East market has not seen a lot of sales specific training programs, and we believe that Richardson Sales, with its esteemed content, well-researched content, great trainers and experts, will be having great value add to this particular region. So we firmly believe that Richardson Sales would be a great product across the segments that we operate. And I'm sure that this webinar will give you a preview in terms of what's in it. And I'm sure Pankaj and Subila at the end of the program will be able to walk you through some of the details and how you can reach out to us. So that's a little bit of a quick on Imarticus. As I said, we have great client base. If you move to the next slide, Jason, in Middle East, we worked with First Abu Dhabi Bank, Qatar National Bank, Mashreq, and likewise National Bank of Oman. And we see a lot of our programs been well received across the market, right from a training to content development, and importantly, Richardson Sales bringing that extra flavor in terms of the global sales view would really help to the overall market. Without further ado, I think I'll hand it over back to Pankaj, who will then kind of walk you through the webinar details. Thank you.
Thanks, Rish. I think we have Tim Sullivan. Tim heads the global business for Richardson Sales Performance. Tim is based out of Atlanta, and Tim will walk you through a brief introduction about Richardson before we start with Jason. Over to you, Tim. And Jason, if you can just forward the slide for the Richardson introduction.
Thank you, Pankaj and Suresh. Welcome, everyone. And thank you very much. Richardson Sales Performance is very pleased to be able to work with our partner, Imarticus, to bring our capabilities in the Middle East, North Africa, and other parts of the world that they now cover, and to provide local support. Richardson for more than 40 years has been studying best practices in sales management, and marketing leadership. And we have packaged those into programs where we've been able to work with millions of sales professionals around the world to help improve their performance. You can go to the next slide, please. We are particularly delighted to be able to share these with you because these programs work exceptionally well according to industry research and third-party research. In this case, we're showing you something here from the Aberdeen Group compared to similar kinds of methodologies and sales skill training. The Richardson programs produce incrementally much better results in helping salespeople to improve the size of their opportunities, to be able to ramp up new salespeople more effectively and efficiently, to improve repeat sales with existing customers, and most importantly, to help sales people and sales teams to exceed their goals for their sales efforts. And so once again, we're very pleased to work with Imarticus to help bring these kinds of capabilities and advantages to you in the Middle East, North Africa, and local markets. So very happy to be here. Let me turn it back over now to Pankaj.
Thanks, Tim. Thanks a lot. I think great introduction. And let me introduce our speaker today, Jason. Jason is based out of Dublin, and he's a thought leader in the field of key account management, sales practitioner, or a consultative sales. He has a practitioner where he worked for almost a decade before he moved and want to share his experience as a practitioner. And today he's one of the global instructors for Richardson, and he'll be speaking today some of the 7 best practices on key account management. Richardson has put up these practices with intensive research, and now I will hand it over to Jason to cover some of these best practices.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much. I'm absolutely delighted to have everyone here today. And it's what I love about Richardson. There's so many different facets in how you can create a really good process. Sales is also about building up really good processes with your clients and enable them to get more of what they want, more of a collaborative approach within the methodologies that we're going to show you today. So I'm absolutely delighted with that. So look, without further ado, let me carry on. Look, this is a little bit about me. Look, from my accent, I'm English, but I live in Ireland. I moved over here about 17 years ago, got 2 lovely kids and a beautiful wife. I'm rated by Global Vision magazine as Ireland's top trainers and coaches. I will take that on board. Got a wonderful podcast where I interview global leaders certified in Richardson, major accounts, consultative selling, but also other areas of psychology, spin, neuroselling, and lots of other things like that. But because these are about you and what you can learn, what I'd like to do is, has anyone ever done Mentimeter before? Because I want to find out a little bit about the audience. If you just hold on for a second, I'm just going to reshare my screen. And what I like and love you to do is, if you can, on your phone, or if you have on your computer, if you can go to menti.com, and I'm just going to reshare my screen. And you can see the screen up in front. So what I'd like to find out from you, if you can go to www.menti.com and put in this code up here, 92 84 99 30. So I'll repeat that. Go to menti.com and use this code 92 84 99 30. And we got other people that in position 1, we have sales. What I love about this, it's instant. And what I love even more about it, we can find out how many people are actually doing this. So just a couple of seconds for this. General management, other. Do we have anyone from HR, IT, or learning and development? Because people like to, with a growth mindset, and you're really lucky to be here. And we've obviously got a very smart audience that want to learn more and find out more about how Richardson works and the expertise that we use and utilize for major accounts. And obviously, I'm naturally assuming that you all have major accounts. So majority of people are from sales, which is awesome because this is about sales. And thank you so much for that. I'm just going to go for the next. So 13 people have done. Just want to go to the next slide. I will share this afterwards, and I'll ask the guys to share this as well. So regarding that, what is the most challenging thing you face in key account management today? Use the same code 94. All you have to do is press the button to go on within the slide. What is the most challenging thing you face in key account management today? What is the most challenging thing? So use the same code 92, 84, 99, and 30. And it'd be great and awesome. Process of key account management. Okay, awesome. Generate sales. Love that. Value proposition. These are typical questions that people come up with. Less margins, retention, repeat business. Yep, absolutely. Less margin, keeping your customers loyal. Within the full 2-3 day workshop, we cover lots of these areas in lots of deep detail, and we deep dive in this. But it's all about learning, and it's all about growing. It's all about applying. It's great and wonderful to attend these workshops, but it's all about the application once you've actually learned the core skills. We're going to give you some top level overview. There's some wonderful stuff on here. Thank you so much. Just one more question before we go into this, because it's all about learning and growing here. Are you following any process for key account management at the moment? Is there anything that you're doing specifically that you can follow your key account management? If you see my head going to one side, I've got two screens going on, just so you know what I'm doing, so you can understand where I'm at. No. Okay, well, that's good. At least you're straight and honest and straight to the point. That's what we like to see. CRM, work management platform. Okay, CRM is huge. You have to use that as if it's your go-to tool, one of your go-to tools, work management platform. Like, we're not going to really go into the CRM, but when you set up and when you sign up for this program in advance, we normally send you some information about setting your CRM up so you can apply it to this. So look, that's some really good, clever ideas here. So I'm just going to exit out of this and stop share for a second so I can re-share my deck and you can have the best information out there at the moment. But remember, today is all about the top 7 practices. There are obviously a lot more once you apply this to the course. Can we all see my screen? If you can just give us a bit of a thumbs up. Awesome. We all have a chat function in here, so I will be asking you a few questions as well. So look, I'm in Dublin, Ireland. Where is everyone else in the world today? So it'd be good to see where everyone actually is. If you can just put where you are, that'd be absolutely awesome, just so I know where you actually are. Awesome. So let's flick on. So we're going to have a look at the external drivers. We're going to have a look at what are the initiatives out there. Saudi Arabia, Bangalore, Dubai. I've been to Dubai. Dubai is beautiful. I've been to Botswana. I've been to Kenya. I've been to North America. So I've been in around. I've traveled a lot of these countries. So Dubai is beautiful. Very hot though, but beautiful. What's the importance of a plan? Very important. Navigate decision-making and politics with an account. Hugely important. 23 degrees. It's that's good. It's probably about 2 degrees here where I am. So you're way ahead of me, which is very good. Let me just organize my screen so I can see everyone. Okay, so we're having a look at coming up with the vision for an account. Protect an account from competitive intrusion. But this today is all about the top level overview. What we like to understand is how you can build up revenue, how you can get return on relationship and return on your investment that you actually spending a lot more time and effort actually into. So keep in mind the plan. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So if you want to keep that in mind for everything that we're doing today, because that's one of the key things about major accounts and major accounts planning. So without further ado, I just want to flick on. If you have any questions throughout, I'm sure my beautiful assistants there will help and facilitate the questions as we go on. So on and PK and Tim, they're all here to help us grow and learn. And this is all about giving you the best aspects of learning and growing. An outcome, I plan to achieve revenue and relationship objectives. when you're doing a key account and major account planning, you have to think about the relationship. You have to think about your clients and customers and the collaborative efforts that we all put together when we work with our clients. So, you know, like it's always great to have wonderful quotes out there, but you know, there's a lot of definitions of planning. The first quote captures the true essence of what planning is all about: creation of a desired future state, gaining consciousness from involved in the plan, the team focus on putting the plan into action. What does that mean? Without actions part of planning, then why bother? Bringing it all together as closely as possible means getting it done effectively and efficiently. The second quote basically is the point that having a beautiful plan filled means little. It's the process that gets you through the plan. So without a process, your plan doesn't work. So you have to make sure that you have a tick, almost like a tick strategy that works effectively when working with your clients and being more collaborative within your approach, so you're more effective at what you do. So look, this is typical scenarios out here. Our corporate culture, our agenda, our management, this is all about us, who our account managers are, our subject management experts. So you as an account manager, or as you as the people that are instigating, you're the head of the account, it's about managing, working with your own company culture and set of expectations that you set out. You need to establish relationship with your management team, because when you set up and you start to integrate and start to look after your clients, you have to work out which client is in order and in priority that you actually need to work with. Which client can you know you can get the best outcomes with? Because you can set out maybe the top 5, top 6 clients that you actually have. Where can you best focus your best attention to them? Where can you actually see there's more revenue that actually can be correlated between you and your customer? But also, how can you, because time, money, and effort is absolutely essential. So if you're using a lot of resources here, you've obviously got to make sure that it's well spent with the clients that you can see the benefit and the potential to grow the client, the products and the services that you have that can ideally match with their needs and with their expectation. So who are out there? So clients on their side, their management system, who are they? Who are the different areas within the culture, within the culture tree, within their management? Are you speaking to the right people? This sounds a bit obvious really, but there's lots of key players in there. And when you go onto the full course, we discuss that in granular detail, and we get you to do your own corporate and their decision makers as well. So where are you spending your most attention? So that's hugely important there. So looking at their project committee, again, looking at their customers, looking at the competition is out there. So this is all about having your right strategy and really understanding all the key elements of your structure and also your client, the one that you want to focus in, the one that can drive potential, the one that you can deliver and serve their products and serve your products and services that are well placed and well matched into them. So let's have a look a little bit further on. Are we all good in the chat at the moment? If you like to just say that you're all good, you're understanding, if you can just give us a yes or a bit of a thumbs up, you can use an emoji or you can use something else, just so I know that you're still with me and still present. So that's always good. So major account management. So the object here is really understanding expected to bring suitable value to the account. You have to make sure that is. Accountable. Are you self-accountable? Are you accountable if we suffer significant loss of the account. So you have to start to look at that. We want to focus in on our best customers, obviously, but our customers that we can see that will and has the potential of growth, because otherwise you can spend a lot of time and wasting your time on customers that can sort of suck your resources and they're just to be educated. Okay, it's good to educate, but we don't want that. We want to make sure that we can educate to the right parties that actually can buy from us, can't we? Won't we? Also, let's have a look at the continuous process, because we have to drive and deliver and be in that collaborative effort. And that's where we all dream to be, is where we're working in tangent with each other and then we know each other that well. And that's all part and parcel of building this continuous process, creating momentum for change. The biggest thing that we've learned over the period of time that we've been in is adapting, because things change. So we know that over the last 2 years, COVID's completely changed everything. But your clients change as well. The decisions do change along the process. So we have to make sure that we're adaptable, but we have to make sure that the goal is the same, that we have to understand that the goal is always there. Our leadership needs to be making financial sense of all the resources. That's what I suggested in the previous slide, that we really understand everything and co-destiny of all the accounts that we have. But we have to be quite strategic, and we have to use our CRM to its fullest extent. Be good to see in the chat what CRMs everyone's using at the moment and utilizing. I use Salesforce, and it's a phenomenal tool. What does everyone else use? So if you can put that in the chat, what do you use at the moment? Because that really is helpful. Salesforce. Tim, obviously, Tim uses Salesforce. I know that for a fact. Thanks, Tim. Everyone else, what are you using? Soho is really good. Yeah, Soho. Dynamics, 365, Pipedrive. Yeah, Pipedrive's very good. I like Pipedrive. Lots of good CRMs out there. Like, it's all customization for this. Whatever you use, whenever you come on, we have to adapt it in around your needs, but it's pretty much similar. So we spend a little bit of time working with you on that. A lot of 365 dynamics on there, which is good. I haven't actually used that. I've used all of the other ones, but I haven't used that. So where do you want to be? And then have a look at that. Do you want to just be one of these people that are, someone rings you up every now and again, you're one of these 3 people? Or do you want to be up there as being a trusted advisor? And I'm going to have a look at that. Are you expected to deliver new sustainable value to the accounts if we suffer significant loss to the account? Leadership, continuous process. It is a continuous process and not a sprint. So we look at the impact of between 3 and 12 months before we start, and creating momentum for change. As we all understand, change is the big thing. And we also have to look at other areas and other facets of the account, because there could be other people that are working on, if it's a larger account, and we're talking about big major accounts here, are there any other people that actually have the knowledge on the account that you can actually bring in if you're looking at a set of products or services that you want to work with your clients with that? So have a think about that. So let's filter on. So key thing here, what I would like to think about is, what is your 2 to 3 vision for your account right now? Where do you actually see and envision this? A lot of people don't do this when they start to look at the account. I think you have to go into a bit of a visualization process. A lot of the big people out there, the big leaders out there, the people that I've ever interviewed, they visualize how they want to see and work with their clients. Where do you actually see? But there's also practicality around this. Some clients actually have, for us, what we normally do, we send you some pre-work and some time and effort to think about to your account. What and where do you see your account? So what I mean by that, you have to be quite strategic with that. Not that I want to grow it by, I just want to grow the account. Be specific. What does that account mean to you if you did grow that account? If you grow it by 10, 15%, how much revenue would that be in the next 2 or 3 years? Who else would be involved in that account? What would that mean to me, but what would that mean to my client as well? Because at the end of the day, we have some wonderful technology, some wonderful tools here, but what does that actually mean? So clarify that. I use a process called the Disney methodology, which you can actually dream up ideas and then you have to cement it right down into critical and realistic. And that's something that we introduce within the approach because we want to make sure that it's right. A vision is a declaration of an organization objectives intended to guide internal decision making. So you as the account manager work with this. It's really cool. Once you actually get to grips with working this. So establishing your vision for the account. Where do you want to be in the next 2 or 3 years? We've talked about that. How do we want to be perceived? Your perception in yourself within your organization, how would you like to be perceived? Would you like to be perceived as the subject expert? Would you like to be perceived as the go-to person for the account that you're managing? Because they know you got trust, they know you got credibility, but you also know that you have strategy and the know-how to work with us in the way that we like to be worked. Because it's all about them, it's all about us as well, but you have to start to think about the key things about what the key indicators are and what lights people's fire within their imagination when you look at them, when you work with them. Where is the account going strategically? And that's all a part and parcel of the strategy that we give you and we work with you to make for your business. And we also do live case studies for you as well. Do you have current and future actions to support this vision? How does that work? So let's have a look at this. Where would you like to be? Would you just like to be a vendor? Would you like to be a credible source or a problem solver for the account? Look, let's have a look at understanding each of these levels significantly. Because how does the customer view us? Are we one of these people that you just ring up and they go, look, you just might be a vendor. You might be one of these people that we call to, one of several various other people, or, you know, it's down to you. How do we view ourselves? It's really important to actually view ourselves and really sort of understanding, look inside yourself. I always like to suggest is, how do people perceive myself? What I'd like to always say is your personal brand, because when you're actually within your organization, you have to have your personal brand and you have to be credible. You have to be trustworthy. You have to have all of the core and key elements. If you don't, you have to work on them to make sure that people want to view yourself as the right person that we need to speak to. Where do we want to be? Meaning, where do we want to be in this process? But before, sorry, I just slipped down. You can be a strategic problem solver. You can be the educator. You can be the likable stuff, the credible source, and that's great and wonderful. But wouldn't it be great if you're a trusted advisor? So your account, your people that you work with, your major account, they always come to you. I know for me, I've worked with lots of big corporates, and I know they call me rather than me calling them if they have a problem that they want us to solve. And like, we will obviously work with everyone, but we want to make sure that it's specific for them. The more you can do, which is outside of the realms of being helpful, the better it is for you, because then you come up with that trusted advisor approach. So look, let's have a look at industry trends. Discuss your current and future trends affecting your customer's industry. This is all part and parcel of understanding your client, understanding what's going on, looking around that particular vertical, that particular marketplace. What is going on? Who are their competitors? Who are, is there challenges in the industry? What opportunities, the trends? You're going to be there as the subject expert if it is the major account. So you're going to be reviewing, you'll be looking on Twitter, you'll be looking at all the other credible resources out there. I throw this out to the audience here. With your clients that you work with, do you know the industry really well? Do you know the current trends? Can you support and give ideas and think strategically outside the box? And the way I like to look at it is also thinking inside the box and thinking of different ideas within the realms of what you actually have. So what we'd normally do at this area is we'll take 20 minutes or so. We get you to do this research. We get you to think about this, think about your industry, think and understand. And we normally allow you about 15 to 20 minutes and bring back your ideas with this. And again, it's the action list. So the business initiatives around here, and PK, tell me if I'm running over time, but I want to give as much value to everyone here.
Yes, Jason, I think we're good with time. We still have 25 more minutes. And I think, yes, and also cover some of the instruments which Richardson uses to cover all this point. Some of the processes and templates which Richardson is using, which I'm sure we'll cover.
Yeah, we'll do that. Thanks a lot for that, PK. So look, we've got a few more things to go through and to cover. I just want to make sure that everyone in the chat room, is this good? Is this great? Wonderful. If you can just put some details down in the chat, it's just good to know that I've got your full attention here. If you can just say yes, 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 that'd be absolutely incredible. Just so I can understand where I'm pitching to, so I can understand that I'm making this all relevant to you and for you. Awesome. And that's really good. And I appreciate that. Thanks a lot. And thanks a lot, Tim. It's always good to get the Richardson seal of approval here. So look, let's have a look at the business characteristics. So we're having a look at executive level sponsorship, quantifiable value, communicating internally, externally, and funding. So these are some of the pains that you actually have a look at. And like every company has some sort of pain there. So look at what is the business initiative away from the organization to public state and desired state of characteristics and activities around you want to yield from. So these are the business initiatives. This is the strategic approach that you want to make. So really construct a goal or objective that is, what is the expected outcome that you're trying to look? What are the planned activities that you can do in and around having and looking and utilizing this account? Some of the things that we do on Salesforce, specifically Salesforce, but if you're not on Salesforce, and I know that a lot of you are not, we do this thing called whiteboarding. And what that allows us to do, has anyone actually done that? If you haven't, say yes or no. So what we'll do is when we work with you, we allow us to work strategically on the account, and we'll look at different products and different services that we can maybe serve the client with. And we go into big granular detail with yourself, and we can understand and dig deep within the customers and the clients that you serve, and how we can actually leverage and reimagine the accounts and maybe other products and services that we can actually offer them that we're not thinking about. So we come up with that and complete and utter strategy around that. Again, if you're in Salesforce, we can work on Salesforce, but then we can maybe adapt around Soho or 365 or whatever it might be. So we'll have a look at those. And also give an example of the customer's goals, because it's about that. How can we improve the operation margins by them, whatever the service that you're offering? So on a high level, corporate goals with no metrics, timeframes. If so, maybe some work to do on key executives in the account to provide the valuable addition of what is expected in business outcome of the initiatives. How what specific business activities, projects might yield some expected business results, and this initiative be started and ended, and what timings in there. Because again, you have to have timings within every account, because we know major accounts can take a little bit of time to nurture and build. So these 5 characteristics ensure that we expected an even initiative and its impact. So we'll have a look at all of these facets within that, and we'll have a look at other areas. This is fundamental information to have and start thinking about, and what and how the customer defines their business initiatives. So I'm sure you're aware of this. I'm sure you have a look at the organizational tree of when you're working with a client. If you don't, this is really core. So you can actually highlight who are the influencers, who are the core decision makers, who are the right people that you need to speak to, who are the people that are the users within the organization. I think that's the key thing to touch points. I know you probably know it, but it's really good to highlight it, because we'll be looking at this as well. But we're looking at this from a different point of view, because what we want to do is cover the basics, cover the customer's organization structure at the highest level possible. The point is to know where we are spending our time. Are we spending most of our time with someone that, our user, someone that are we talking to? Do they have the capabilities to actually make the right decision, an informed decision? Are there other people in the network, the marketing director as an example, that can influence the decision, but they're not actually the sole decision maker? So thinking about using your best use of your time right now, because time, as we know, is money, effort for you, effort to grow the account. So again, who are the key players? Do we know them all? Does anyone else within your organization know them that can maybe make that connection and that personal connection with someone that can actually personally introduce you? Obvious thing to say is utilizing using the likes of LinkedIn, or asking them to send an email to them and include yourself. Sounds a bit obvious, but it's a really good thing to do. What is a relationship with them? It's all about the relationship. What can you do to utilize and use that relationship and spend more time with the people that are going to help you get what you want? If you excuse me for a second, I just want to have a drink of water. Is this making sense at the moment? Are we all good? I want to give you as much value here, because this methodology is absolutely core in its fullest entirety to grow and make you revenue for your business. But again, it's to learn it and apply it. And who are the competitors' relationship? Who else are they serving? Who else are they working with? Have some ideas around that, so you can build up yourself on the previous slide, so you can be that trusted advisor. So some things that people don't look at is the vulnerability of the account. Theoretical, and you post-mortem the account before you even go there. So imagine 6 months into the future from now, you took a phone call to say that your main competitor has been given the account, the prime partner. How do you feel about that? So this is really about jumping yourself into the future. It's one of the really key strategic things that you can learn today, is about thinking about the things that could go wrong. It's also wonderful and great to think about how the things that could go right, but then let's be strategic about this, because this is a really important client. What must have happened? What would you do have failed to achieve? Certain things that you might have done. So this is all about going back into understanding your client. You might have missed something. You know, there's with all the soft skills that you know, and the biggest cultural thing around the world is 2 ears and 1 mouth. The more you listen, the more you know. The more you know, the more you understand. The more you understand, the more you can connect with the client by asking some really good, wonderful strategic questions about them, their business, and understanding the pain points and the value that you can give forward. But you don't know that, because if you can imagine yourself what the key vulnerability of this account and capture actions that can be avoided within this. So this is really quite strategic to really understand about them. It's really impactful once you do this process. So let's have a look at this. If you want to take a screen grab of this, please do. I want you to list down the key vulnerability. What are the key vulnerabilities here? So the key vulnerability is not everyone's in the process here. So you have to connect with whoever, the IT, the marketing director, whatever your products and services and whatever that might actually be. All of the areas, maybe your products and service doesn't match every single requirement that they have. So how are you going to get around that? What other things have you got that could be perceived as vulnerability? And I think you have to do a bit of soul searching here and really understand. Then again, if you'd like to take a screen grab, because it's really useful, and we go to big detail here when we do the full course, is understand the actions needed. What actions are needed to overcome this, to make sure that you're almost tight. You're very tight with the product and services that you offer. I would always suggest, and I would always go into your SMART goal setting. Does everyone understand what SMART goal setting is? Your goal, what actually is the goal? So we can actually have a look on the previous slide. We can have a look at the actions needed. I think it's pretty standard across the globe now, is specific, what, when, why, measurable, accurate, or achievable, realistic, and time-bound. So spend a bit of time doing this. You might be thinking, God, there's a lot of things that for us to do. Absolutely. If you want to get a process to be right and 100% and be that trusted advisor with your client, you have to do the work, because it's necessary to make more revenue for your business, but also to help your clients to get what they need and to be that trusted advisor. And what's the SMART goal? I would also go into the next thing is your SWOT analysis. It's been said time and time again, we all understand strengths, weakness, opportunities, and whatever. So let's have a look at the vulnerability here. Let's have a look at the strengths. Let's have a look at the weaknesses. This is all about your vulnerability within the account. So let's have a look at that. This is lots of criteria around this, but you can really get some really good ideas once you separate yourself from everything else and you start to think and maybe strategically think with your account partners, your account executives. You might even want to go as far as even asking other people that. So I would always suggest organize the industry, emphasize finding source material, trends, articles, research to help you find out more about the vulnerability and how you can overcome that. Be present to present to a wider group. Look within this and how you can do it. So typically we'll get you into a breakout to understand and utilize this. Look, I'm almost finished, but areas to consider: grow relationships, maintain customer business and current business, have all of the touch points of the world, newly launched identified opportunities, contain competition, manage current pipeline, understand everything about that. So again, let's have a look back at this. I think this is always quite important. So whether or not customers get put onto us and they have a perception about us. So understanding each of these significant levels, you can understand where your relationship is with your clients. And what I'd like you to do and take away is, where are you in this? Are you a vendor? Are you a credible source? Are you a problem solver? Be honest with yourself, because once you're honest with yourself, then you have routes to maneuver and how you can build up a better relationship with these clients and focus on asking them questions of value to them as a perceived or if you might be perceived as a trusted advisor, are you? So remember, don't lead with products and services, lead with asking questions. Unpeel the onion. The more questions that you can ask without going to the product and then finding out what the actual challenges that they face, so you can actually offer them and solve the business problems that they're facing. This is a multi-dynamic approach. There's lots of different facets within larger organizations that can help, but can also hinder us as well. So year 1, year 2, year 3, this is where you would like to be on your vision. Could be, you could be reactive, proactive, and then joint. So start to look and utilize and build this. So connected selling curriculum, this is how we would work with you. There's lots of different facets in and around how we can help you and grow and work with you strategically to build your team to be more effective at what they do, to grow your major accounts, to get return on investment, but also the relationships that you have and help to build across your organizations that you serve. So look, we work with lots of different organizations across the globe, but we'd like to really sort of, if you'd like to take a screen grab of this, I'm sure we can produce other. So this is pretty much a case study. So top tier global professional services company want to accelerate relationships with their clients and fill new opportunities to drive revenue. So the more proactive approach is we need to design levels of opportunity of business development and growth in that specific account, because the account has been there for a while. What can we do? They're still paying money. They're still doing this, that, and the other, but how and what can we do to grow the business even further? And it's all about growth. So in collaboration with the firm's senior leadership team in a US organization, Richardson Performance involved in developing new lead generation of strategic accounts within the workshop. And you know what? It drove revenue through the roof. But the key thing with everything is you have to apply everything that we teach you. Because if you just go away and that's wonderful, that's great and incredible, brilliant, fantastic. But we want to work with you to make sure that your accounts grow and you apply the learning that we teach you, because everything is a process. Everything is a learned behavior, and how you can build up that habit of having a process. And again, the results were phenomenal, grew by 195%, which is phenomenal. We do this across the globe. We work with a lot of different companies and we help them grow and learn, but it's a partnership between us and you to make sure that you apply the knowledge and apply the skills that we teach you. So PK, I thank you
Jason.
so much.
Yeah, I think this
Thank
is
you.
yeah.
Thanks, Jason. Thank you so much. We're going to now open the floor for questions. So please, the audience, anybody a question, please put it in the chat box. We'll try and take as many as we can. I know we're short of time. Jason will keep you back just for a little more time. So if anybody has questions, I'll try and put across maximum. So I'm just waiting. Please key in your questions.
And remember, the better the question, the better the answer. So look, you've been really good in the chat. So it'd be really good to get some questions. Please connect with us.
Yeah, so anyway, we have a couple of questions, but then I'm not going to be giving you all of them. I know we're short of time. So to take just the top few, what are the three major trends that you see in sales, Jason, in 2022, the pandemic, or I don't know, we can say the endemic as of now?
Well, the trends are actually happening now, like within Ireland anyway, things are starting to open up again. But it's to manage the uncertain times, to manage and really understand the customer's needs in uncertain times. And empathy plays a massive impact in that. So it is still a current trend, but it's still, you still have to do with that. But you still have to make sure that the process and the needs and the goals are exactly the same. So nothing changes like that. So that's a couple of them. Agility is also, you have to be agile.
Yes.
And I think you might have actually gonna be asking me that, but I'm gonna say it to you already. Agile is being flexible in the process. Agility, there's lots of things that you can learn about being yourself, agile, being, but agile with the same goal in sight. You have to really understand what the goal is on both sides, on both parties, the customer and obviously yourself, and being transparent. Another thing that I'd like to put in there is to show a little bit of compassion and vulnerability there as well, because people like themselves. And within this global pandemic that we're going through still, it's to really understand them and yourself as a person.
Okay, thanks. That's enlightening. In fact, my next question was around agility, but you already answered that, so that's fine. There is another question to say, how do you manage a complex sales or a sales process? How do you go about managing that?
That's why we do what we do here. So I would say if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. It's all about strategic planning behind this. There's lots of different things that we do to help clients like the audience that are here to build in a better strategic plan of action, because it is plan of action and where you need to go and where you'd like to see your clients in the future. Can you recommend a CRM for better account management that you have just shared with us today? Like Salesforce is the #1 in the world. That's phenomenal. I've used a lot of them. Salesforce is like, can't get anything better than Salesforce. It is an investment, but it's a good investment if you use it right. But it's all about setting it up correctly. It's all about using it and utilizing it for everyone in the organization.
Jason, I have one more question, which is asked by one of the participants. Is there any relationship between the sales best practices and the accounting best practices, right? So can you throw some light on how they're related to each other?
Well, sales best practices is soft skills, I would suggest. It's again, intently listening to understand the client and the client's needs, really understand it from their point of view, having some wonderful questions. I would always suggest having some main points that you want to cover, but never use and utilize a script, but have things that you want to discuss, but also things that you, if you're speaking to a client, is in advance of meeting them, you set out your agenda, what you want to be discussing with your clients. Simple people skills. And I say it's soft skills, but it is people skills. Building that relationship. You don't have to be extrovert, you can be introvert, but still have some core skills. And I think you still have to carry on to learn this.
But how is connected with the accounts best practices? That's the question. Is that they are interlinked? The question is that the accounting best practices and the sales best practices.
So it's all about utilizing and growing the account. So what we do in here is growing the account. What can we do within this process of major accounts selling is what can we do to our best clients out there? Pick 5 as an example. What can we do to grow those accounts without wasting valuable resources? Is there an end goal? Do we have that relationship with the client? Can we perceive the account to be grown? Do we have the products and services there to apply to the account? Are we asking the right questions again? It's all about growth. We all want to grow our accounts, but we also want to help serve the client in the best way possible with the solutions and products that we help and serve.
Thank you. I think Subila, you want
Yeah, I think we're nearly at the end of questions because yes. Can you throw some light, Jason? Specifically, you talked about agility, of course, but then for B2B sales, I mean, business to business sales, is that different to the B2C customer sales? Yeah.
Yeah, it's totally different. Business to
Okay.
business. I'm going to just B2B. I'm going to paraphrase what you've said. Is business to business. So, as an example, here is Microsoft is selling to another global enterprise account with large insurance companies. So that's business to business. Business to consumer is slightly different when you're going onto Amazon and or whatever. It's a product based. It's lots of them. It's slightly different process. But for here specifically, we're talking about business to business solutions and how we can build and maintain and be effective in the accounts that we serve.
This was specifically to, if you can maybe just talk quickly about agility in B2B sales. Yeah.
I think I might have covered that already.
Yes. So is that any different than when you are handling the customer directly?
The key question here, Isabella, is, are you agile? Can you
Yes.
change? Can you maneuver around the account? Or it's like being fixed in a growth mindset. Are you a fixed mindset and you always want, this is how it always is? Or do you have a growth mindset and you're flexible? You want to learn and grow, but you also, things have to have the same goal in sight. You also have to have the finishing line. We know, as in sales, the timelines can move backwards and forwards, but are you agile enough within those timelines to maneuver? If you've done your work correctly, the timeline should actually stay effective. But we know that people leave and go from the organizations, but can you replace that person that has left? Can you work with the new account person within the other organization? Are you agile enough to be working with them, even though they might be different from the previous person? So you have to be strategic about how you work and influence other with integral positive results.
Sure. That makes a lot. We have another question, just the last one. I know I said previously last. So there is a question which says, you mentioned in major account planning part that we need to protect the account from competition, intrusion. Can you share some ideas how our sales team in the field can really do that? Again,
that's all in the planning. That's why we did, and we went through the vision of what could happen, what could go wrong in the future. Are you a trusted advisor with the client? Where are you in the realms? Are you just one of these one of three other people that they would speak to?
Vendors, yeah.
If you want to keep the competition out, you have to make sure that you embedded with your client to be a trusted advisor. There's lots of things around this that we work on when we work with you on this process to try and seal out the competition. But again, you have to do your smart analysis. You have to do things that could potentially go wrong, and obviously what could go right as well. So let's have a look at that. And I think that's really not quite necessary when you're planning and involving your client going forward. But also you might want to share with your client as well. Where are we on this process? Share the resource with them. If they want to be a trusted advisor, you share the best, where you are by an email, by a shared document, so they know where you are as well. The more you can do that, the more you can get embedded and collaborative with the client, the better it is and the better you can serve them.
Thank you. I think that was very.
It's a long answer to a short question.
It is. It is. But then the competition intrusion, I guess, is a major concern for all of us in sales.
Of course.
If I'm not wrong.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it is a massive concern for everyone. Like, I appreciate everyone's questions, and I really appreciate everyone coming on here today. And I think PK is going to say some final words.
Yes, sure. Over to you.
On behalf of me, Subela, and the entire Dubai team, including Savan, Colleen and Suresh, Tim, Jason, I'd like to thank everyone for attending this event. We have an exciting people who have attended this webinar and managed to get some time out. We'll be offering a workshop absolutely complimentary on major account planning by one of our SME in the mid of February. We'll be sending you that invite and the offer shortly. Thanks once again. Have a wonderful evening. And that's it from my side. Anything else, Subela?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. We'll be in touch. I'm based in Dubai, and I handle the Richardson sales performance, and we'll be sharing this exciting offer with you shortly over mail, personally to each one of you. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.